I'm delighted to be joined by Chris Clarke, who's the Chief Executive Chairman. Is that the title? Is that Chris?
Yeah.
Of Rigby Taylor. And wonderful backdrop you've got there. Must be a lovely house you're living in somewhere.
Well,
Very, very
good
nice.
pit stop.
But the last time we spoke was in Harrogate in January, and well, life's changed a little bit since then. There's no way you as a business, even no matter how good you were at SWOT analysis, could have come up with what we've been through in the last 2 months and what we have ahead of us. So how do you, as a boss of a big company, put preparation in place or find a pathway through?
Well, I think we've adapted, Scott, to the current environment, and we'll adapt again as it relaxes, no doubt. It's difficult, and trading is difficult, and it's difficult for everybody in the industry, both on the supply side and for our customers. So we've adapted to that by putting in procedures and safety procedures, distancing. We've furloughed a number of our employees so that we've reduced our resource to match the demand. We are still taking what I think is a fairly reasonable input of orders, so that's quite good. And really, it's just doing the right thing, I think, is the most important. We're protecting our employees, we're protecting the community at large, and we're meeting the needs of our customers as well, which I think all those things are important.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you as Rigby Taylor is a big family, one of the biggest companies out in our sector of the industry, and you're very much the man of the house. So you must feel
Yes.
the responsibility greatly for the people under who you have responsibility for. Has coronavirus touched closely to many of the people within the Rigby Taylor family?
No, not particularly. We've not had anybody confirmed. We've had a few people who maybe think they might, and they've isolated, etc., which is fine. But no, it's not too close at the moment, and hopefully it won't be.
Mm-hmm. And the furloughing situation, now you must have been delighted when the Chancellor came out with the talk of the rescue plan, or the wrong word really, isn't it? The help along the way plan, I suppose, for companies. Yes. You fitted the bill perfectly for that. So that must have been a huge relief when you heard that sort of money was going to be available.
It is, and it certainly helps you along. It's not the full answer by any manner of means, but it's certainly a really big help. Mm-hmm. And it allows us to flex and do what it's meant to do, and preserve employment for the future, and that's what we're about. And we'll be here in the future without a doubt.
Well, that's the thing about our industry. I mean, it doesn't stop because grass keeps growing. So,
it does.
And the people you're selling to, many of those are key workers. So at least there'll be somebody on the end of a phone when you're phoning to see if they're requiring any new provisions made. There will be
Absolutely.
Somebody there.
Yeah, we're still fully operational from that point of view, and our factories are still operating. So basically, from a customer point of view, I hope it's pretty much business as usual. The delivery system runs fairly well, and the carriers are still active. So yeah, I think there's some things we can't get because our supply lines have shut down, but certainly anything that's made in our own factories is still very much available.
And they are talking now of finding the getting back to work strategy back in, and you have been working, but if it widens out, what are your thoughts about the timing of this? Do you think it's about right? Both wearing your welfare hat and your commercial hat as well. You've got the same sort of issues as the Prime Minister has. If you push one, you have to pull the other, and getting that balance right must be extremely difficult.
It is difficult. Yes, we'd all like to get back to normal, but I think it's going to be, relaxation might be just around the corner in the next couple of weeks, and maybe golf may come back on in a form, but distancing and controls are still going to be key to that, to prevent a second spike. So I think it won't just spring back to business as usual. It's going to be a long road out, I think. I think we're probably looking at 9 to 12 months before we're fully away from this, at best. So I think it's going to take a long while for it to return to normal, if ever it returns to normal as it was, you know.
Yeah. And as a company, it's not all on your shoulders. Do you sit down? Have you your very own Cobra Committee, for example? Do you have a team of senior management that you sit and look at mentioned SWOT analysis earlier on? Is that something you're looking at as an ongoing situation going forward?
Yes, it is. We look at that all the time, and that's how we've adapted. And as I said, we'll have to adapt on the way out as well. So we're looking at, you know, controls that we can put in place, a better protection, or expand our operations while keeping the safety, you know, as a paramount goal. So yes, I think it's we work at that all the time. I mean, certainly, you know, video conferencing has played a major part in that. You know, that we probably meet more now than we did, ironically, because it's actually so easy to do. We can be quite nimble, and we can move quickly, which is key in this environment.
And what about your thoughts about the industry sector as a whole? You mentioned the fact that you don't think things will be coming back to normal anytime soon, if ever. Do you think budgets at your customers' side of things, they're going to be impacted upon? Do you think we're going to have to lower our sights a little bit when it comes to what our expectations are for profit levels at the end of a year?
Oh, I think undoubtedly so. Undoubtedly, it will certainly impact on everybody's profitability, I'm sure, and stability, and sustainability going forward. That, you know, some businesses, customers' businesses, you know, may not make it, and I think you've just got to be real about that, and that's going to be a fact of life, I think. So I think it is going to be difficult from a trading point of view going forward.
Well, I hope that you've got everything in place, and then when we do see the green shoots of recovery, you're well placed to take advantage of them. And I'm sure you will be. You're a company has been around for an awful long time, and it'll take more than a coronavirus to knock a dent into your future. I'm sure of that. So thank you very much, Chris, for giving us a little bit of your time. I look forward to seeing you. Perhaps it may well be one of the shows, whenever that might be. But keep safe between now and then, and love to everybody else back at the Rigby Taylor family.
Okay, thanks very much, Scott.